Well, hello there. This is one of those times when I didn't necessarily come out here planning to record a video, but I have this beautiful background, and so I'm going to give it a try and just see what comes out. So something that I've been thinking about lately, and thinking isn't really quite the right verb, I guess, is really a knowing and an embodying. Is knowing that that voice, that thinking inside of my head isn't me. And it isn't you. It's something separate from us. And sometimes it's so loud. And sometimes it really insists upon things. And sometimes it reminds you of stuff. These are things that happened in the past. And you are this way and you think this way because these things really happened. This person said this. This other event happened to me, and this is why whatever situation in your life right now is a struggle for you. Manifestation content will tell you, okay, but you got to get control of your thoughts. You got to use your thoughts to get what you want. You got to turn your thoughts to those unpleasant things that are not what you want to being what you really want. And I think that there is some merit to that, in the sense that I almost was going to say that all of the states are within you. They are all you, so you get to just choose whichever one you want. You can either be the one who's suffering and not fulfilled, or not having enough money, or not having the relationship you want, or you can choose to be the one who is content and fulfilled. But there's a deeper truth than that. And the truth is that the one who's not content, the one who thinks that it needs these things outside of you to be content, the one that thinks that you've been done wrong, or you've been unlucky, or you've had whatever tragedies in your life, and this is why things are the way they are for you, that's the thing that isn't you. The feeling of fulfillment and contentment, that is you. That is the real truth of who you actually are. And I can say this to you all I want, but it's just that consistently going back and having the direct experience of it, so that when inevitably the thoughts come in, and remember, all the thoughts, that internal experience that we're all having here, it's a program. It's something that it's here, it's present. It just isn't us. It just isn't from us. And even though it's really uncomfortable, it still really has no power. And you don't have to do anything about it. You just leave it alone. You just let it be as it is over there, while you go on doing your life as the content, whole being of love that you are. In a really practical sense, it can be like, okay, Erin, that all sounds great, but what do I do? Like, what am I doing right now? I'm not feeling very inspired or whatever. I mean, these are the things that I talk about on this channel all the time, where, well, sometimes it means you just kind of fall back on the basic stuff until something shakes loose. Because life it's not about finding it or doing it even. It's not about not taking action. But it's not about figuring out what action to take. It's about always falling back into who you really are. Sitting in silence and spending time with yourself. Spending time in beautiful nature such as this. And listening. And sometimes this is the action to be taken in the moment. Sometimes it is taking yourself out into nature. And sometimes that doesn't do anything about the uncomfortable emotions. They're still there. They're still going to be there. And that's okay, because again, they aren't you, and they never were. But basically, you spend enough time sitting with yourself, understanding who you are, really having the direct experience of that infinity of who you are. And then you're just moved to take the action. You just find yourself doing it already. It's not about figuring it out. I know I talk a lot in this channel about organization and writing tasks on a list and getting things done, but that's literally just because, ooh, my hand's getting cold holding this microphone. I hope it's working because this waterfall is quite loud. I talk a lot about bullet journaling as a productivity tool, a way of focusing and getting things done, but it's not about doing a multitude of tasks. It's not about getting yourself to a desired endpoint faster by being disciplined. It's just something I simply love and find delightful to talk about. It's honestly, that is the whole motivation of it. I have really found it helpful to me, and I simply love to talk about it. And at some point, if I think I don't love talking about bullet journaling anymore, I don't love talking about organization anymore, I will stop. But that's the whole point of me doing this thing that I'm doing here on this channel, is that I'm showing up to find out what's going to happen. And I'm willing to let it be slow, as it has been. There's been some stops and some starts, but I genuinely love being consistent. I love showing up here, and I love talking to you about things that are alive for me, and being as best I can, an embodiment of what I want to see more of on this planet, which is truly just embodying the nature of our real selves, which is really just knowing how powerful we are. Because I want a world in which everybody knows how powerful they really are. Because we wouldn't in a world like this, we won't put up with nearly the crap that we are putting up with right now from our leaders and the world situation and all of these things. So it's not using my thinking mind to figure it all out. I know this is hard for some. Hard for me. It's hard for me, we'll say. Your mind is a tool. It's useful for some things, but for the deeper things, it's really always just sinking back into the experience of who you are underneath all of the thoughts, underneath all of the emotions. They're all going to change anyway. Tomorrow you're going to have different thoughts. The next day you're going to have different thoughts. Some thoughts and emotions will stay with you for a very long time. I know we've all had that experience. But eventually they will leave and change. Even the good ones will leave and change. And that's okay. None of it's truly who you are. And so it can seem almost like, well, what's this all about then? What's this all about? Well, it's not about achieving or attaining anything. It's not that it's not about doing basic things in life. Again, I talk about doing basic life, human things all the time on this channel. It's not about being in an enlightened state and sitting on a rock somewhere in meditation, unless that's what you want to do. It's about always carrying that deeper sense of you with you throughout your entire life, and just expecting all the amazing things to show up from this place of just trusting yourself, trusting this life. That's all that wants to come through for me right now. I'm going to go rock climbing. That's the reason I came out here in the first place, but I just had to stop and hang out by this beautiful icicle-y waterfall for a little bit. We don't get icicles all the time here in Tennessee because it's usually pretty warm. So it's kind of a special treat. And I'll see you in the next video.